Malthusianism is a theory that originated in the 18th century, named after the British economist Thomas Robert Malthus. This theory lays out the belief that population growth occurs at a far more exponential rate than the growth rate of supply. Therefore, the fruition of mankind is impossible under such conditions. If this problem is not remedied, Malthus presumed humanity would continue to live in widespread poverty. As a result, he believed that stern preventative limits needed to be placed on reproduction. Effectively, Malthusianism asserts that population growth will eventually outstrip the planet's available resources, leading to a crisis in which there won't be enough resources to go around. This theory can be seen in the context of various fields, such as economics, sociology, and environmentalism. Malthusianism posits that, as population growth accelerates, more and more natural resources will be consumed, leading to environmental degradation and ultimately a depletion of resources. Malthus argued that unless population growth was checked through natural mechanisms like disease, famine, and war, the global population would continue to expand until it outstripped the planet's food supply, leading to catastrophic consequences. This theory has been subjected to a ton of controversy. However, it still has an array of supporters globally and on an interstate level. One example being India. It started in the 1975 state of emergency, when son of the former Indian Prime Minister Sanjay Gandhi began a campaign with the aim of forcefully sterilizing poor men. In just a year of the storied campaign, a whopping 6.2 million Indian men were sterilized. 2,000 men died from these enforced operations. And, as if that weren't bad enough, these acts of sterilization are reportedly still happening to this day, especially to Indian women. In the years 2013 and 2014, official figures state that India carried out 4 million sterilizations. All of these terrible acts are done in order to ensure the state's population control quota is met. Another example of population control policies being enforced is China. Initially, China had a one-child policy in an attempt to achieve their own population control quotas. However, what the Chinese government soon realized was that this policy is brewing up a large demographic crisis in China. Because the rate of newborns has decreased yearly, the vast majority of the existing population have aged, and haven't gotten replenished by a large enough crop of a younger generation. This would end up leaving China with an aging, sickly population. Subsequently, since 2016, China have tried to backtrack on the one-child policy by changing it to a two-child policy, and subsequently, the removal of family size limits entirely. This shows how concerning the data was to China. Critics of Malthusianism particularly disagree because predictions that the global population would outstrip its food supply have yet to fully materialize. Critics have argued that, while population growth does lead to increased resource consumption, advances in technology and economic development have allowed humanity to produce more resources per capita than ever before. While Malthusianism remains a contentious theory, with some very controversial applications to it, it continues to inform our discussions around population growth and resource consumption. The question of whether humanity can continue to produce enough resources to sustain a growing population, or whether we will eventually face a crisis, remains a pressing one today. So, what do you think is the answer to this question? Let me know your thoughts about it down below in the comments section. And as always, if you enjoyed the content, please make sure to subscribe.